Squirrel is a charming, agile, small animal from the order of rodents. Basically, we are used to seeing this red-haired, fluffy beauty in the forest or park, where she looks very touching when she takes nuts from our palm. It is difficult not to fall under the charm of a charming squirrel mischievous girl. Therefore, it is not surprising that some people really want to have such a fluffy miracle in their apartments. However, before purchasing a squirrel, you need to familiarize yourself with some of the nuances of its content and analyze all the positive and negative aspects of the establishment of such a pet. In order for your future pet to live happily ever after, you need to properly prepare for its settlement. First of all, you need an aviary or cage. For such an active rodent as a squirrel, you need to choose a spacious cage. The minimum size is 60 by 70 by 150 centimeters. The last number is the cell height. The bars of the cage should only be metal. The squirrel will gnaw through plastic or wood instantly. It is better if the cage is equipped with a retractable bottom. It will be more convenient for you to clean. In the new home, place various branches, shelves, ladders. The pet will be happy to jump on them. The squirrel will need a house where she can take a break from annoying household members and a hammock in which the animal will sleep. Put a wheel in the cage so that the agile pet can vent its ebullient energy. Be sure to place a tree snag in the cage and secure it in such a way that the pet can grind down its teeth and claws. You can also use mineral stone purchased at a pet store for these purposes. You will also need a drinker and a feeder. They must always be kept clean. You need to change the water in the drinking bowl daily and remove the leftover feed immediately after the pet's meal. Be sure to fill the bottom of the cage with corn or wood filler. Sawdust should not be used. Squirrels are often allergic to them. As for food, the squirrel diet must include hazelnut, ground and pine nuts, mushrooms, dried and fresh, spruce, pine cones with seeds, birch leaves, willow or aspen earrings. Also, the pet will not refuse to eat acorns, which he loves very much, small lizards, raw eggs, fruits and vegetables, seeds, pumpkin or sunflower, chicken meat, raw. Feed the squirrel 2 times a day, morning and evening. You must strictly control the amount of food you give. A serving should be no more than 40 to 50 grams. An animal at home spends much less energy than in the wild. Therefore, it is impossible to overfeed it. It will lead to obesity and big health problems. The benefits of keeping a squirrel as a pet include unpretentiousness to basic care. It is enough to clean the animal's cage. Do not forget to change the water and feed on time. Doesn't require walking. A pet does not need to be walked regularly, unlike a dog. Playfulness and activity. It is very interesting to watch the animal frolicking in a cage or spinning in its wheel. You yourself will get a good boost of energy looking at this fluffy, perpetual motion machine. The squirrel itself carefully looks after wool. She does not need your help in the form of bathing and combing. Like a cat, a pet can spend hours arranging its fur coat. The squirrel is a diurnal animal. She is active during daylight hours. So during the day you can perfectly communicate with the animal and watch its tricks, and at night you can relax. They live long. With proper care, a pet can live in captivity for 10 to 12 years. The cons of keeping a squirrel as a pet include: the squirrel is a wild animal. Even if you take a small squirrel from a breeder or a specialized store, you will not be given a guarantee that he will grow up to be a cute, tame animal. It will not be possible to completely domesticate a squirrel. Its instincts are ineradicable. Large financial costs. The average price of an animal is $150 to $200. But you will have to pay much more for the purchase of a large cage or an aviary, with all the related accessories and equipment for a comfortable pet. They shed heavily. During the shedding period, you will find wool everywhere. Accordingly, you will have to clean up more often, which takes time. In addition, squirrel hair can provoke allergies. Therefore, it is contraindicated for allergy sufferers to keep such a pet. Difficult to educate. If you start to deal with a pet from the first days of its appearance in the house, then you can raise it as a relatively socialized animal. Some squirrels even begin to respond to the nickname, become sociable animals, allow themselves to be stroked. But you need to deal with your pet every day, allocating a lot of time for this. If the educational process is interrupted, the animal will instantly forget everything that it has been taught, since squirrels have a very poor memory. Bad smell. The rodent is not distinguished by cleanliness, and it is almost impossible to teach him to go to the tray. So in the pet's possessions, you will have to clean regularly, at least every other day. The secretions of the animal have an extremely unpleasant odor, so be sure to treat the tray near the cage with special detergents. Unpredictability of behavior. Mood swings in squirrels occur regularly. This is due to the hormonal background. At such moments, just a minute ago, an affectionate animal becomes aggressive, nervous. It can bite, scratch painfully. Doesn't get along well with other pets, especially cats and dogs. The percentage of probability that animals will get used to each other is extremely small. Therefore, it is better not to allow their communication as far as possible. And even if the rodent is in a cage, monitor its safety. Do not leave it alone with other pets. Long walks around the apartment are required. You can't keep a squirrel in a cage all the time. This is an unusually active and mobile animal. He needs to organize time for unhindered movement and exploration of space. Such walks should be carried out daily. True, you will have to come to terms with scratched wallpaper, furniture and curtains, as well as things and food scattered throughout the room. Do not forget to close the windows and vents when your pet will frolic. Squirrel will not miss the opportunity to break free, and you will not see her again. It makes a lot of noise. At about 5 a.m., the squirrel is already waking up and will notify you of its awakening with a joyful chirping, jumping around the cage, rattling a nut in a bowl, and various other sounds. In some cases, this can be unnerving, especially if you decide to sleep off on a legal day off. Veterinary service. The squirrel is not very common as a pet. Therefore, it is difficult to find a good veterinarian with experience in treating such pets. Is it worth getting a squirrel? The squirrel is a very cute and agile animal. His lifestyle, habits, and pranks are very interesting to watch. However, squirrels are not for everyone. Active, energetic people with a strong nervous system should start a fluffy beauty, since the indefatigable activity and waywardness of an animal can anger an unbalanced person. You should definitely not buy a squirrel when there is a small child in the family. No matter how much he asks you. Persistent and intrusive attempts by a child to caress and cuddle the animal can end in dire consequences. Even if there are no small children, think carefully about whether you really need a squirrel. There are other rodents that are more socialized, bite and scratch less. But if you decide firmly, and are ready to sacrifice some degree of comfort, as well as provide your pet with everything necessary for a fulfilling life, and give him a lot of time for communication and education, then a lot of pleasant emotions will be guaranteed to you. Are you thinking about getting a squirrel? Let us know what you decide in the comments below. And if you know someone who's thinking about getting a squirrel, please share this with them. If you liked this video, check out our website. The link is in the description of this video. Otherwise, have a great day. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.